There is big news, and Congress, everybody, is expected to make some big adjustments just to SNAP program to help Americans across the country out. We know that President Biden is not doing enough for the American people, and we declare that people should be getting the stimulus checks in 2023 just to help with the rise of inflation, just to help with the cost of living, everybody. Now, in the coming months, Congress is expected to reauthorize the SNAP benefits, the country's largest food assistance program that helps poor families and afford groceries. Now, amidst this ongoing debt crisis, Republicans have focused on SNAP work provisions, proposing expansions to work requirements and identifying employment as a program goal. These efforts are key to providing better assistance to beneficiaries. Enhanced benefits under the SNAP ended March 1st, and a significant share of households are reporting food insufficiency. The latest data released last week marks the first full period of data collection since the end of the SNAP benefits. It revealed that households in states that were distributing the extra benefits generally experienced lower levels of food insufficiency compared to those in states distributing standard debt amounts. Now, households in states that opted out of emergency allotments reported that they often do not have enough money and food to eat at the higher rates than those in states that continue to distribute the additional SNAP benefits. 1 in 4 households in the 32 states impacted by the policy change are reporting that either sometimes often do not have enough to eat. For some households that received benefits up until the program's termination, the policy change has major implications. For instance, a family of 4 with a net monthly income of $2,000 received $940 more in SNAP benefits this year compared to the previous crisis. And with the end of the emergency allotments, that family is now receiving $600 less a month. In total, roughly 32 million people are receiving smaller monthly SNAP payments, which is so much bad for American people. Other changes to SNAP include eligibility requirements. Republicans have passed a bill that would raise the age limit from 50 to 56 years old for the work requirements, and also that affect qualification for SNAP benefits too. But there is little chance that the bill will pass in its current format, with the Democratic-controlled Senate and President Biden already signaling that he would veto any spending cuts to the debt ceiling increase. In an effort to reach some kind of compromise, though, rules around the SNAP program could be adjusted in future years. This past Friday's better than expected jobs report defied interest rate hikes again that are aimed to slash inflation by cooling the economy. Instead, the U.S. added around 250,000 jobs in April, making a slight decline from an average of 290,000 over the previous months. And now government data showed that the job gains did not occur evenly across sectors. Some industries posted blockbuster expansions, while others lagged far behind. The sector that featured the most job gain covers a wide-reaching set of positions, referred to as businesses and professional services, which includes attorneys, accountants, managers, and computer engineers. The sector added 43,000 jobs last month, nearly doubling an average of 25,000 jobs gained over the previous 6. The major expansion arrives despite high-profile layoffs in the media and tech industries. Healthcare, an industry that is showing job growth in recent months, continued at a blistering pace in April, and according to experts, the performance in this industry owes a large part to the aging population. Roughly 17% of Americans are 65 years or older. That share of population, which counts for 55 million people, has grown nearly 40% since 2010, everybody. Jerome Powell just made a huge announcement on inflation. A new Social Security bill has been proposed by top Republicans. If the bill passes, it could affect many seniors financially. Watch to the end because you definitely don't want to miss out on this. There is a big update on inflation. Jerome Powell told lawmakers that the central bank is determined to bring down inflation and has the ability to do so and make it happen. During a meeting with the Senate Banking Committee, Powell stated, "At the Fed, we understand the hardship high inflation is causing. We are strongly committed to bringing inflation back down, and we are moving expeditiously to do so. We have both the tools we need and the resolve it will take to restore price and stability on behalf of American families and beneficiaries." Along with expressing resolve on inflation, Powell said economic conditions are generally favorable, with a strong labor market and persistently high demand. But Senate Democrat Elizabeth Warren warned Jerome Powell that the continued rate hikes could tip the economy into recession, without stopping inflation. Senator Warren said, "You know what's worse than high inflation and low unemployment is high inflation and recession with millions of people out of work." Powell told his colleagues it is certainly possible. It's not an intended outcome at all, but it's a certain possibility. And frankly, the events over the last few months around the world have made it even more difficult for people to achieve what they want, which is 2% inflation and still a strong labor market. Powell has stressed that he thinks tighter monetary policy will be an effective tool against inflation, and has said he thinks the economy is well positioned to make things happen. However, he also told Warren that higher rates won't do much to lower soaring food and gas costs. Cracks have been showing in the economy this year that indicate the higher rates are coming as the economy is already slowing down. GDP declined at a 1.5% annual pace in the first quarter and is on pace to be flat in the second quarter. Housing sales have plunged and therefore job market is slowing down. Despite the economic wobbles, Powell and his policymakers have indicated that rate hikes will continue. Projections released at the meeting last week point to the Fed's benchmark short-term borrowing rate, rising rate to 3.4% by the end of this year, from its current targeted range of 1.5% to 1.75%. One of the most popular and enduring government programs is Social Security, which has funded the lives of seniors for many years. As a result, senior poverty rate clocks in at a mere 9%. Yet research indicates that the trust fund providing Social Security benefits will deplete their reserves by 2034. In an effort to extend the program's solvency, Democrats have introduced a bill to expand Social Security. Bernie Sanders, along with Democrats and co-sponsors, introduced the Social Security Expansion Act to the Senate floor, aiming to enhance benefits and ensure the long-term solvency of the program. Under this bill, sponsors would like to see new Social Security benefits rise by $200 across the board for both new and current beneficiaries. The bill would also change the existing Social Security cost of living adjustment to more heavily weights on the cost of healthcare and prescriptions.
Woman from Massachusetts, Ms. Presley, is now recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Chairman Powell, without question, the Fed has a role to play in healing our economy. But as with any treatment, the wrong medication can cause even more harm and make the patient more ill. Chairman Powell, at your latest press conference, you stated, quote, wages are not principally responsible for the inflation we are seeing, end quote. I certainly agree with that assessment, as do many economists. Considering that wages are not driving inflation, why is the Fed addressing inflation with tools which primarily impact wages, such as interest rates?
Well, our tools principally impact inflation, not necessarily wage inflation. So our job is price inflation. But I will say on wage inflation, the issue is that over time, wages are really a very important, over time looking forward, are very important, particularly for service companies where most of the costs are really in wages. And wages, we all love to see big wage increases, but these increases that have been having, some of them are just substantially bigger than would be consistent with 2% inflation.
Thank you. Well, throughout today's hearing, to that point, you've indicated that the Fed doesn't have more precise tools at your disposal. Chairman, the root causes of the inflation we are seeing are supply chain disruptions outside of the Fed's control.